Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, my sweet babies. It's Destin Choice, and welcome to my second channel. Now, for today's video, I decided to talk about the whole Naomi Campbell situation. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys didn't hear about it, because it's more so getting coverage in the UK, so if you live in the UK, I'm pretty sure you heard about it. But anyways, I'm basically going to be talking about the Naomi Campbell scandal that's really talked about right now in the UK. If you live in the UK, I'm sure you heard about it. And I'm also going to talk about a lot of serious topics that a lot of YouTubers never want to touch. So, before I get into this video, I have my veggie tots made out of cauliflower. And I have spinach, my pure spinach. Low carb snack. I'm really concerned about a lot of your health. A lot of you guys are still eating chicken with preservatives. A lot of you guys are still eating fast food. A lot of you guys are still consuming McDonald's. A lot of you guys are just putting a lot of those kind of things in your body. Before I get into this video, I was going to say be mindful of things you put in your body and make sure to take your vitamins. Anyways. So long story short, this is low carb ketchup, by the way. So if you guys didn't hear, Naomi Campbell's being attached to a scandal that was written by the Daily Mail. So basically, long story short, Naomi Campbell is being dragged by a lot of people, specifically because of her relationship with Jeff Epsteiin. For those of you guys who know who Jeff Epsteiin was, he was an American financier, and he was also a real estate investor, and he was just overall huge. He was one of the richest people in the world, and he was very well known and very well respected in the real estate world and by politicians. Long story short, just like most politicians and just like most white supremacists and just like most white people who are very powerful, he was a monster and he was a serial rapist and fucked little kids. Just like most popular white politicians in the industry. Stay woke, everybody. So Jeff Epstein was a serial rapist and he was very involved in sex trafficking. For those of you guys who know what sex trafficking is, basically it's when young little boys and young little girls are pressured and kidnapped and forced to do child labor related things and basically commercial sexual things. And it's been like that since the beginning of time. Sex trafficking isn't only big in America, but it's also big in a lot of parts of Africa. It's huge in a lot of parts of the Middle East. It's really huge in Sudan, and it's super massive all over America. Just America just talks about it a lot more. Ohio is really huge for it. Las Vegas, Detroit, Miami, Florida, Vegas, Texas, and California. Really big places for sex trafficking. Sex trafficking made over $150 billion in 2017, and it's projected to make that much yearly. Fun fact for those of you guys who don't realize how serious this is, sex trafficking made more than Geico, which made $73 billion last year. Also, sex trafficking made more than Walmart, which generated $129 billion. Be safe. It's serious out here. Sex trafficking is massive in the world, specifically because there are a lot of nasty men out there who desire little girls. Now I know some of y'all are thinking, what does Naomi Campbell have to do with any of this? Well, long story short, the Daily Mail, a very popular news source, put out a story that Naomi Campbell might have been involved with the whole sex trafficking thing. But the reason why people are saying that she might have been involved is because there is a lot of photographs from the early 2000s and the late 90s of her hanging around Jeff Epstein. Now, this is absolutely fucking ridiculous, and I hate the fact that they're doing this to Naomi Campbell. I feel like the media just wants a reason to come for Naomi Campbell, because Naomi Campbell is, without a doubt, a supermodel icon. Without her, there wouldn't be inclusivity with dark-skinned women in the model and fashion industry. Naomi Campbell made modeling diverse. And she was one of the most highest paid models in the world at one point. So if you guys didn't know, Naomi Campbell was a model from the 90s. And basically, she's huge. She's hung around a lot of really powerful people. And many people are attaching her to this because people see it as, Naomi Campbell has 3 pictures of her and Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, the person who was accused of sex trafficking young girls, raping young girls, and lying to young girls saying that he could push their modeling career. Basically similar to what Bill Cosby allegedly did and similar to what R. Kelly has done. Naomi Campbell was not here for what the media had to say, and she did do a sit-down interview.
I was shocked by this article in Mail on Sunday. I've always said that I'm not a saint, that I am a work in progress. but I will not be held hostage by my past. Classroom for Relief is something that came to my mind in 2005. We started with Hurricane Katrina. We've helped the floods in Japan. We've worked with the great association Save the Children. We worked with Sarah Brown, the former Prime Minister's wife, Gordon Brown's wife, White Women Alliance, Maternal Health, Ebola crisis, the floods in UK. I mean, it goes on. I'm not going to stop, and I won't be undermined or have my team be undermined for all the wonderful and great work and for all the people that have collaborated and supported the cause that Fashion for Relief chooses each year.
The paper does manage to make it clear that you were not aware of Epsteiin activities. Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else. Because I've had my fair share of sexual predators, and thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this. I mean, right now I stand with the victims. I can't, they're scarred for life. I've rubbed shoulders with hundreds of thousands of people.
What would your conclusion be about this article?
Let's call it for what it is. This is a character assassination, and we can all read between the lines and know why they keep coming at me. But I will not lay down and let that happen. The frightening conclusion here is that if the negative action of your neighbor, colleague, or even an associate can somehow make you guilty too, simply by association, then we indeed live in very worrying times. This affects us all. It is wrong, it's unfair, and it must be stopped.
She did kind of do a sit-down interview on her YouTube channel, and the questions were already prepared, so I don't really know how to feel about this. She made a statement, and good for her, but at the same time, it's a little suspect because, yes, Naomi Campbell said that she had no idea about Jeffrey Epstein's problematic history. And for those of you guys who want a quick synopsis of who Jeffrey Epstein is, here's some videos.
Billionaire businessman Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in New York Saturday on federal charges related to sex trafficking. The 66-year-old hedge fund manager has long been accused of sexually abusing underage girls. In 2007, he pleaded guilty to 2 prostitution counts in Florida as part of a controversial deal to avoid federal charges. He was sentenced to 13 months in jail. Former Miami U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta handled that deal.
And so it was awful.
You're just thrown into a world that you don't understand, and you don't know you're screaming on the inside and you don't know how to let it come out. And you just become this numb figure who refuses to feel and refuses to speak and all you do is obey. It takes a long time to start the healing process. I mean, I will never heal. There are pieces from me that can never be put back together. I mean, it took me having a daughter and looking at this beautiful, young, innocent baby to say, I want to speak out about it now. If we can make that point across, that doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter how powerful you are, there are girls out there that will speak up, and I don't care if it's 10 years later or 15 years later, whenever you're ready to do it, you do it.
Controversial plea deal. In a civil case against the government about that deal, one accuser says she took part in an orgy on Epstein's private island in 2002 with 8 other young girls who appeared to be under the age of 18. Epstein registered as a sex offender in the Virgin Islands. But unlike in the U.S., where he had level 3 sex offender status, considered the most dangerous, here he was classified as Tier 1. It meant he had to check in with local authorities once a year.
She said she had no idea about his problematic past. She had no idea what he did, what he was about, and she had no idea that he was running a multi-million-dollar sex trafficking ring all over the world. Now, here's where things are a little bit hard to believe. Personally, I don't have a choice but to believe Naomi Campbell, because if she said it's not true, that she had any involvement, it's not true. Ain't no evidence. It's not true. But many people are questioning Naomi Campbell. A lot of people are on her side, and many celebrities even defended her, like Kim Kardashian and Lee Daniels and other big celebrities like P. Diddy and more. But for me, it's like, it's kind of weird how Naomi Campbell is in the middle of this, considering that she was friends with Harvey Weinstein. In case you guys didn't know, Harvey Weinstein is a very well-known film producer. He helped produce films like Scary Movie, and he helped produce films like Charlie Angels and many more. So he was a huge multi-million-dollar industry person, and many people were shocked to find out that he was a pedophile and raped young girls, and was attached to a lot of sex trafficking. So not only was she friends with Jeff Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, but she was also friends with Kevin Spacey, who was also known for being an alleged pedophile and trying to touch and force himself on a young 14-year-old boy. So let's be realistic here. It's kind of weird how she's attached to these people, but at the same time, this doesn't tell us nothing. So at the same time, this is just the media trying to be the media, basically trying to attach celebrities to it in order to bring more energy to the story. You know, they did the same thing with John Legend. John Legend has pictures with Harvey Weinstein, and people called his ass out on it when he was in a documentary with R. Kelly. Not only that, Oprah is friends with Harvey Weinstein, was friends with Harvey Weinstein. And many people called her out when she was doing this documentary and producing a documentary for Michael Jackson's alleged children exposers. So the media can do whatever they want. They can spin whatever narrative they want. The way the world is, they attach famous people. So a lot of times you're guilty by association. People label you based on who you hang out with. I mean, let's be realistic. If you hang out with a whole bunch of hoes, automatically in high school, you get labeled a hoe. If you hang around a whole bunch of Latin people, people automatically think you're Latin. People usually judge you based on who you're associated by. It a lot of times has nothing to do with who you are. And if people can't find a label for you, they're going to try to force one onto you. I have a lot of respect for Naomi Campbell. She's done a lot. She's donated millions to Africa. She's donated millions to people in need. And she's also been honored for, you know, humanitarian awards. And she's been honored in the UK. Like, she's very well loved all over the world. And throughout her entire career, she's always been labeled the angry black woman. Just because she speaks her mind, she's strong-minded, she doesn't take shit from anybody, and she just overall has a tough exterior. And she's been labeled the angry black woman her whole career. And it is sort of a shame that she had to come out and basically defend herself and say, just because I hung out with a pedophile, that doesn't make me associated with it. Because what a lot of you guys don't know is Jeff Epstein, a lot of the people that he hung out with were involved with his sex trafficking ring. He hung around people like Prince Andrew, Queen Elizabeth's son. He hung around people like Donald Trump, and he also hung around people like Bill Clinton. And he also had a private jet. As you can see, it's a beautiful private jet. And as you can see, the floors are padded down. And in this private jet that he called the Lolita, he basically bought girls back and forth. And he was a billionaire, so he owned a private island. Since he owned a private island, he had a lot of sex trafficking going on his private island, and he owned a lot of villas on that island. So since he owned a lot of villas there, and he owned a huge mansion there, he was able to bring girls back and forth from that island to all over the world. And he was working on sex trafficking from America to Mexico to the UK to Thailand and plenty other countries. So people need to understand that sex trafficking is bigger than a lot of you guys think. It's not like as simple as how many people try to like paint it on TV. It's like, it's bigger. It's beyond us. Like, it's a $1 billion industry. And who are involved in $1 billion industries? Colonizers. Stay woke, America. Stay woke, everybody. Stay woke, beautiful people. So sex trafficking have a lot of higher ups involved. Even people like R. Kelly was investing into it because, I mean, shit, he ain't making no money off his music and his tours keep getting canceled. So to be realistic, this whole sex trafficking thing, it's what a lot of people call modern day slavery. It's not going anywhere. It was drilled into America. People have been sex trafficking little kids and forcing little kids and 14-year-old girls and 12-year-old girls to have sex with grown men for money since the beginning of time. It's always been a thing, and it's likely not going anywhere. But the only thing that we can do is speak out against it. If you guys are dealing with any sex trafficking or know anyone that's involved with sex trafficking, Here's the number for America hotline. Call this number if you know anything about sex trafficking. Call this number for the UK. Call this number for Mexico. Call this number for Europe. Or just Google it, honestly. So this whole sex trafficking thing, you barely hear about it because a lot of times the people, the news outlets, the people who control these news outlets, a lot of times they're behind all of this shit. Many people even attach Trump to Jeff Epstein because Trump one time said in 2002, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy." Trump told New York Magazine in 2002, "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side." Yup, that's what your president said. Yeah, little that we all know, he was over here doing sex trafficking rings and making millions off of it. In 2008, though, he almost got caught up and he almost went to jail. He almost did life in prison. But he ended up getting a pass. He got one of the biggest plea deals. That was the most craziest, most outrageous plea deal in American history. Jeff Epstein was able to buy his freedom, and basically he only did 13 months in jail in 2008, and he also pled guilty. So so if he wanted a plea deal, he had to do 13 months in prison. He had to pay some fees. He had to give at least 12 to 25 girls settlements, and he also had to register as sex offender. That's all he had to do, and then he would be able to go free. And basically, his jail time was so smooth that he was able to like clock out of jail whenever he felt like it. Whenever he needed to go on a business trip, he was able to just clock out of jail. Anytime you gotta go to work, "Oh, sorry guys, I gotta go. Don't feel like dropping the soap today." And he would just like walk right out, and he was able to because that was a part of his plea deal. Apparently, he also got flat screen TVs in jail. He got access to the internet. So jail was just comfortable to him. And that's what happens when you have money in this world. America's so fucked up that the pledge that we like to say every morning in school, injustice for all, yeah, bitch, there really ain't no fucking justice. As long as you got money, you can get away with anything. Why do you think they don't teach us about sex trafficking in school? Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever learned about sex trafficking in school? And don't say it was mentioned. I want to hear y'all say that y'all actually had lessons on it. No, right? You've never had a lesson on sex trafficking? Because it's meant to be like that. America's meant to be ignorant. It's that simple. Many movies and TV shows have portrayed sex trafficking and explained how big it is. For example, the movie Taken. There's a whole bunch of movies that I want y'all to watch. I'm begging y'all, please watch a lot of these movies because these movies literally are like gems. They will literally tell you everything you know about sex trafficking and they give you a good idea of how it is. This movie is available on YouTube, so if you want to buy it on YouTube, it's $10, or you can rent it for like $2. So please watch it on YouTube or check your streaming platform to see if they're on there. Trafficked is good. Taken is amazing. It's a hit. It's a classic. I recommend you watch it. It's like 99 cents if you want to rent it or something like that. I don't know, but go on YouTube if you want to buy it for like $1 or go on your streaming platform. I know it's on Hulu. Please watch these movies. They're very important if you want more information. There's even story times on YouTube about sex trafficking. Please watch those. I'm going to insert some movies I want y'all to watch. Check out this movie, so on and so forth. Watch those and you'll get a gist of it because they don't teach us these things in school. They don't teach this stuff to the young people. That's why a lot of times young girls are a victim to sex trafficking because a lot of times they're ignorant towards it. So a young girl could be walking through the park by herself out of nowhere walking her dog. She can get snatched, thrown to a van, and pressured to sell herself and basically exported all throughout the world. So these are like $1 million people, billionaires who are a part of this shit, who are literally having young girls exported out throughout. Anywhere where there's large highways, sex trafficking is big. It's really sad that Naomi is attached to this. I feel like it's kind of hard to believe that she doesn't know anything about it, but at the same time, ain't no proof. I'm just saying, it's a little bit weird that she's friends with 3 pedophiles, or she was friends with 3 pedophiles. Jeff Epstein has done some really evil, nasty, grimy things to young girls. This is healthy hot sauce, y'all. No preservatives. But yeah, it's really fucked up that Jeff Epstein has done some really grimy things to a lot of young girls. A lot of young girls have told their stories, and a lot of you guys don't know this, and probably aren't going to hear about this that much in the media. Jeff Epstein ended up committing suicide. Yes, he was arrested last month, and they finally got him. They tried to get him in 2008 because they had so much evidence, found child porn, found young girls who were raped by him testifying, and there were people who seen these young girls get raped. They had so much evidence on him. But, you know, after that case was sealed and thrown out, they eventually got him again. They got him, and they got him good, and they got him last month. But, unfortunately, he ended up committing suicide, and they were literally about to give him his sentencing. So we didn't know what he would have been sentenced as. We didn't know what he would get. And now there's talk that they might be closing his cases. Like, all the young girls that he affected, these cases are literally about to be sealed and closed the fuck up. And it's really, really sad. Because when he was alive, they were going to give it to him. They were going to basically throw the whole book at him. He was even trying to get a whole plea deal before he committed suicide. He was trying to get a whole plea deal, and he was like, hey, I need this plea deal. I'm willing to pay $100 million, and he was still denied. Whew, this is wild. So, he ended up committing suicide, but many police officers speculate that it was an apparent suicide. Meaning, they feel like it wasn't 100% a suicide, and a lot of people have speculated and have even said that he had bruises, and it looked like he was assaulted before he hung himself. Also, allegedly, as the FBI is investigating his apparent suicide, FBI found out that where his cell was, the cameras that they were looking at to see if he really did commit suicide, they were broken. So no one saw him commit suicide, and the cameras didn't catch it because they were broken. So, yes, he hung himself in jail, and many people feel like this was some type of setup. No one knows. A lot of times, people just are thinking that this is a power ahead of everybody. So, for all my young girls out there, please be careful. Please carry pepper spray. Please carry pocket knives. Please carry tasers. Please never go anywhere alone. Please go somewhere with at least 5 people, because sex trafficking is big out here in the streets, and it's more than just a hood nigga or some crazy white dude with a whole bunch of girls. It's more than pimps and prostitution. Like, it's beyond that. Like, $1 billion industry. Remember that. Who controls $1 billion industries? In conclusion, Naomi Campbell being attached to this is horrible. And like you said, it's career assassination, and it's just the media being the media. And I'm glad she defended herself. Because if she not defending herself, people would assume it was true. You know, people who were associated with Jeff Epstein, like, for example, his companion, like a woman that he dated for years, Jessalyn Maxwell, she was allegedly helping him and bringing these girls. She was allegedly bringing girls to him, teaching these girls how to use these sexual toys, teaching girls how to do their makeup and do all these crazy sexual things with men. And also, a lot of these young girls were also being paid by Jeff Epstein back in the late 90s, early 2000s to recruit other girls. So there were young girls walking around the hood, walking around the parks and saying, hey, you have nowhere to go? Oh, you're on drugs? Oh, you're a young girl who has no direction, no help? Okay, you know what, you're a runaway? Oh, I know a way you can make some money. So young girls who are controlled by Jeff Epstein will go around looking for young girls to recruit. One girl even bought at least 75 girls to Jeff Epstein. So a lot of times, be very careful, because you never know if you could have people who go to your school or young girls who live in your neighborhood trying to provoke you or persuade you to get into sex trafficking, because it's way beyond than people think. It's crazy because a lot of this doesn't get news coverage. I'm just like, how does this not get news coverage? First, they're not going to talk about black issues that much. And black issues don't get as much promo as it should. And then you got people not talking about sex trafficking. Like, no one talks about that. Like, I barely see any YouTubers talking about it. Like, I'm just seeing CNN, Fox, not even Fox, like small news networks talking about it every once in a while. Jeff Epstein is a disgusting pig. He's an ugly, prune, wrinkled-faced bitch. He ruined a lot of young girls' life. And many young girls, you know, after his passing, gave statements, and this is what a lot of them said. One girl who's anonymous said, "My world kind of spiraled after that. I stopped going on modeling castings. I gained weight. I became depressed. I stopped going out with my friends, and only 5 months after I had been in New York City to pursue my dream, I left. I left the modeling industry, I left New York City, and I totally switched my career path." Another anonymous girl said, "You paid for your freedom. You violated my rights. You should have to pay for them, just as anyone else. You got a plea deal no one else would have been able to get. You used your money to get out of paying the price for your actions." Some of them who remained anonymous. Now that Joe Epstein is gone, people have to understand that he's very, very rich and very wealthy. And now 20 dozens and dozens of more girls have came forward and are trying to sue his estate. After he died, his estate, which basically his whole estate, like how much he's worth, all of his money is basically worth about $500 million, like around $500 million. So many of his victims are trying to sue his estate for how much they feel they deserve. And I hope things work out for a lot of these young girls. Because a lot of these girls who are grown women now were a victim of him. And it's pretty damn crazy how he got away with so much shit for so long. It shows you who's really behind a lot of the things in America. Not even just America, in the world. Trump also gave a statement. He basically said, "Yeah, I knew Jeff Epstein. We were friends at one point, but I wasn't really a fan of him after a while." Which I don't even think that's true. I feel like a lot of these politicians, a lot of these celebrities know shit but aren't gonna say shit. They rather make money off of it. Yes, it's a horrible thing, but in this world, everything's about money. Everybody's competing for money. No one in this world cares about humanity that much. There's so many celebrities don't even talk about it. Because believe it or not, some of your faves might be a part of it, might be investing in it too. Remember y'all, $100 billion industry. That shit ain't going nowhere. Sex trafficking actually grossed more money than McDonald's and Burger King. Many people are also saying that Naomi Campbell is not 100% innocent. Because she was in a very nasty scandal basically almost 10 years ago. But for a lot of you guys who didn't know, Naomi Campbell was a part of a jewel thief scandal. It was called the Blood Diamond Trial. But long story short, somebody bought her diamonds to her front door, and they were in a bag, and they were bloody, and they basically were stolen and taken around the time of a war going around in Liberia. And she was asked in an interview, was she given a diamond?
Campbell has walked out of an interview, knocked a camera to the floor on her way out after being asked about a diamond she allegedly received from former Liberian leader Charles Taylor. Taylor is standing trial for war crimes. Prosecutors from the UN-backed Special Court for Sierra Leone accuse him of trying to control the country's diamond mines. Actress Mia Farrow told prosecutors that she had overheard that Campbell had received the diamond in 1997 when they were both guests of Nelson Mandela in South Africa. But Ms. Campbell would only confirm that she had dinner with Mandela.
You received a diamond from Charles.
I didn't receive a diamond, and I'm not going to speak about that. Thank you very much. And I'm not here for that.
Did you have dinner, though, with Charles Taylor?
I had dinner with Nelson Mandela. Thank you very much.
Execution, sort of, in this very important case.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Whoopsie.
And she said no. And then eventually a lot of people, she eventually like twisted it and said, no, I wasn't given a diamond, I was given diamonds. So you see what she did there? So basically, a lot of people were like, this girl ain't innocent. Because she took forever to testify until her team convinced her to. And then when she finally decided to testify, she was asked why she took so long. And she said the reason why she didn't testify right away was because she was scared for her family's life or whatever. I didn't really dig into it. I just know that she wasn't a controversial thing like that. A lot of people are bringing that up. So a lot of people just see it as, can we really trust what Naomi says? I mean, she's known for being a problematic person and have done some questionable things in her past. But at the end of the day, she said it very clearly. She's not a saint, and none of us are saints. Like I said, it is very weird how she's friends with 3 pedophiles. 1 alleged, 2 confirmed. Like she said, you know, she doesn't know any of what her friends do. She's bumped shoulders with a lot of people. Let's be realistic. For those of y'all who are in high school or in college or work in the office, I guarantee you'll probably walk past at least 1 out of 300 pedophiles out of the week. So a lot of times your coworkers could be pedophiles, your classmates in school could be pedophiles, or they could be involved in pedophilia. A lot of your colleagues could be involved with it, could have something to do with it. They could be involved in rape, sex trafficking. You just never know. So this could be awesome big coincidence that she's attached to 3 pedophiles, but 1 alleged, 2 confirmed. But hey, we'll never know. And if Naomi is lying, eventually the truth will always come out, because remember, anything that happens in the dark always comes to the light. But that's pretty much my views on the whole situation about Jeff Epstein, the things he's done, the monstrous things he's done, and sex trafficking. Like I said, be careful out here, carry pocket knives, carry tasers, because shit is real out here. It's not just happening to young girls, it's happening to young boys from ages, young girls and young boys from ages 6 to like 17. So you just never fucking know. Be aware of your surroundings. Never go anywhere alone. If it's too dark and you're by yourself, don't go out. So that's all I gotta say, and I really gotta share light on this issue because a lot of people don't talk about it, and I feel like it's important to talk about it considering that a lot of my following is young girls and young boys. So yeah, that was that for this video. Please be sure to like and comment and subscribe. Subscribe to my main channel right along with this second channel. And yeah, my stomach hurt. I'm gonna go shit all that shit out. And yeah, that's that. Bye. Middle fingers up. Middle fingers up. Middle fingers up. Nigga, hell nah. I'm sorry. I ain't sorry. Sorry. I ain't sorry. Sorry. I ain't sorry. I don't wanna say I'm sorry. I don't wanna say I'm sorry. I don't wanna say I'm sorry. I ain't thinking about you. I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry. You better call Becky with the good hair. Who the fuck is texting me? You better call Becky with the good hair. That was that for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this concert. Thank you.